Carnegie Library and Homestead, built in 1898, founded by Andrew Carnegie. Those with intimate knowledge of its history say many deaths occurred here.
Either passed away here or they had a tie to Andrew Carnegie or the Carnegie Library.
Hillview Manor in Newcastle, built in 1926. Scores of deaths are recorded in this building.
There was a lot of death around this building.
Some of the deaths were natural, some were
Unfortunate.
Murders?
Possibly.
Based on testimonials, there is belief that spirits dwell in both places.
Something's going on here, and we have a lot of evidence that shows there's something going on here, and I think we may have ghosts, yes.
Slowly, I started to become a believer that something was happening that we could not explain.
Hillview Manor, it opened in 1926 as a home for the indigent, elderly, mentally ill, and orphan children. Carrie Trico's mother bought the building on auction in 2005. Her mother died in 2006. Trico says she and her brother noticed the spirit activity soon after. She says two spirits in particular are profound. Trico talks about Eli, the maintenance worker, a heavy drinker who was found outside in the cold, heavily intoxicated and unconscious on Christmas Eve, 1934.
And they dragged him out back and brought him in through the back into the old boiler room. And unfortunately, he passed away of exposure or possibly alcohol poisoning that night.
And he died in the boiler room.
He did.
And then Angelo, a resident found in this bathroom in 1939.
Angelo was another poor soul that lived on the second floor of the building, and he unfortunately was found hung in the bathroom.
Trico says the spirits of both men are active in the boiler room and the second floor restroom. Pittsburgh's Action News 4 asked psychic medium Jenny Flack to verify these reports.
I'm able to bridge the gap between the living and the dead as a psychic medium.
She attributes that gift to her 5 near-death experiences. One, when she was declared dead while giving birth 18 years ago.
So I'm able to hear them through telepathic communication. I'm able to receive what they want me to know. Yes, I can communicate with the dead.
She visits the boiler room of Hillview for the first time with no information about the history.
But I still feel like there may have been a death by a fall and a neck fracture. He actually said your mother is with him as well. Your mother's passed. And that's lots of heartfelt energies there too. He's like, she misses her mom.
She was spot on. She went into that base, the boiler room, and knew that this guy was a caretaker, that he still feels like he's a caretaker of this building, which we pick up on all the time.
And now the bathroom where Angelo was found hung.
This region is quite active. Probably one of the most active areas of the building, and especially in here.
I feel like a male contributed to his own passing. Like he may have hung himself or hurt his neck.
Where?
Somewhere in here. I feel sick. I feel very sick in here. And I feel like abuse also occurred in here, like physical abuse.
His name was Angelo, and he was found hung in this space, in this bathroom. And we are getting that there may have been some abuse of that man.
More stories inside the Carnegie Library and Homestead. This is the first ever visit inside the building for psychic medium Flack. She begins in the basement. Her pendulum detects negative energy in the basement. So it's negative energy down here?
It feels negative,
Meaning that whatever spirit is here is angry?
Yes.
Unhappy? Did they die that way?
Yes. They were under duress. It almost makes me feel like getting beat with a club.
Members of the Oakmont Paranormal Society say the basement is where they communicate with spirits.
There's a history of death.
That's true. That is very true.
What happened here?
Well, here at the building, we know of at least 2 people who passed on in this building.
One of those deaths was in 1899. Robert Peebles, who was pushed into the swimming pool and drowned.
Unfortunately, Robert went into cardiac failure and died within an arm's reach of the ladder in the deep end of the pool.
In the balcony of the auditorium is where spirit activity has been reported by the executive director of the library, specifically these doors to enter the balcony. Flack investigates with no prior information about what occurred here.
I just feel a lot of shaking in this area, almost like beating on the door, like actually trying to get into this space. But it's literally shaking. It's literally vibrating at a very high intensity. It probably opens by itself a lot.
You think it opened by itself?
A lot.
I am a skeptic, but this is something that we couldn't explain.
Library Executive Director Carol Shreve explains what the psychic medium detected with the doors in the balcony.
One of the motion detectors in the balcony would go off 2 to 3 times a week around 3:15 in the morning, between 3:15 and 3:18 in the morning. And we finally had to take the sensor off the door because we knew no one was here. Nobody was hiding in the balcony. We didn't have the windows open, but the door would just swing open.
Deaths inside the Carnegie Library in Homestead and Hillview Manor are factual. Spirits? Many believe that to be fact as well. Sheldon Ingram, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.